Hey, what's up, guys? Farmar here. So today, I noticed a lot of you guys liked my last video on 8.2, kind of the overall how to play Feral Druid. So thank you guys for all your support on that video. Very much appreciated. Today, I want to be going over some prep with you guys. I'm not going to be going over like super in-depth prep with like the new factions or anything like that. I think that, that's kind of been done over the last couple weeks. There's plenty of guides out on that. This is going to be more kind of like an overall, what do you need to do to be ready to raid tomorrow on Tuesday, right? And then for the Mythic Raiders that don't really care about Heroic very much, right, then what do you need to do to be ready for when Mythic comes out? I would recommend that you clear Heroic, for the gear, but yeah, I know that the Mythic Raiders are their sites are on, when that comes out. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started, guys. So I've been doing some experimentation with a lot of the consumables, and if any of you guys have followed my stream, you know that I was really talking about the empowered proximity potion as well as the focused resolve potion, right? So the focused resolve is the one that will increase your crit by 20% on a single target. If you switch targets, right, you lose focus, or damaging a new target will reset your focus, and then you have to switch targets and then switch it back to get the 20% crit back on the focused target you want. So it's literally only good in a single target situation. And then empowered proximity is the basically agility potion that increases the potency of it and gives you additional agility for having more mobs around you. So anyways, these were what I was really suspecting to be the best. And focus resolve in a single target situation is very close to being the best. It is very, very close. It's very slim margins. So if you already, went and crafted a bunch of these, you're fine. Literally, it's maybe 50 to 100 DPS difference. It's not huge at all in a single target situation. But actually, for the single target situation, if you are absolutely max minning, Unbridled Fury is what's going to be our best in slot potion. So yeah, this potion pulls ahead in all of the simulations that I have done by about anywhere from I've seen as little as 6 DPS to like 90 something DPS. So it's very slim margins, but it is technically our best potion, so I just wanted to kind of let you guys know about that. Also, in an AoE situation, I was really expecting empowered proximity to be the pull ahead here, right? Anywhere from 4 targets and greater, this gives you more agility than the superior potion. And focus resolved is just not usable in multi-target situations. So in an AoE situation where you are, 2 to 3 targets, I was suspecting that superior agility was going to be the potion of choice. But it turns out that even empowered proximity is not going to be the potion of choice. And this is actually a pretty this is a pretty bigger this is a bigger difference. But Unbridled Fury actually pulled ahead in all of the sims that I did for AoE as well. So literally in every situation, Unbridled Fury is the potion to go. I was really kind of happy about having some options with the potions, right? Like, I really wanted there to be a choice in a situation in which I wanted to use my my focus resolved or my empowered proximity or my potion of superior agility. But Unbridled Fury just takes the cake in all of the situations. So go ahead and stock up on your Unbridled Furies. If you did get focus resolved in a single target situation, it's not much of a difference, so no worries there. So I wanted to reiterate on the stats as well. I did go over this a little bit more in depth in my last video, so if you did not see that video, feel free to check it out. Essentially, mastery and crit are going to be equal in terms of priority. And then in a multi-target situation, it's going to be haste is better than versatility. And then in a single target situation, versatility is going to be better than haste. But it's very slim margins. Honestly, just make sure that most of your gear says crit mastery, and you'll be happy. You'll be good. A pretty solid point for me that I have found with my stats is about 30% crit and about 50% mastery. That's going to be, I think, the best go around in terms of, just getting some stationary stats on your gear. All right, next, enchants. So there are some new enchants that are out. They have actually upgraded the mastery ring enchants, and from all the sims that I've done, 60 plus 60 mastery is actually going to be stronger than the plus 60 crit. Now, this might be because I'm above 30% crit on my gear. I imagine for those of you that have more mastery on your gear than crit, that you'll want to run the plus 60 crit on your rings, because you do kind of want those to be balanced out, right? So I recommend that you sim your gear. That's going to be the best telltale of, that's going to be the best sign of what is going to be the enchant for you. But plus 60 mastery or plus 60 crit is going to be your best ring enchant. And then the the new weapon enchant is going to be best. I actually haven't enchanted this weapon yet because I'm banking on getting the new weapon from Ashara, the raid tomorrow, so I'm not going to use this yet, but essentially it is the force multiplier. This is going to be our new best in slot PvE enchant for our weapons, and what this does is it increases your agility by 260, and then it also increases one of your secondary stats, whatever your highest secondary stat is, by 170, which in my case would be my mastery. Therefore, it's going to increase my mastery by 170 and my agility by 264 for 15 seconds. So it's a very strong enchant. It's a little bit more straightforward than the navigation enchants, but yeah. So that's going to be our new BIS for our enchants. Something that a lot of people have been talking about lately is the Benthic Gear, the new Benthic Gear. So let's go ahead and cover what we can run in the Benthic Gear and what is going to be our best in slot Benthic Gear. I do recommend, if you're a mythic raider, that you hold on to your mana pearls until the mythic week comes around, because they might get nerfed. These pieces of gear that I'm about to go over are simming extremely high. So yeah, I recommend that you wait until the last moment to absolutely buy and upgrade your Benthic Gear, just so you don't waste your mana pearls. But if you want it now, go for it. Do whatever's fun for you. So the boots, and I actually have the boots in my inventory right now, so I can actually show you these, is going to be the Reefstrider Footwraps. What this does is while you're in Najatar and the Eternal Palace raid, is it's going to increase your critical strike damage by about 3%, which is huge. So what you want to aim for with these Benthic boots is going to get a socket on them, and then get your 60 mastery gem in them, or if you don't already have your I think it's 120 agility gem, something like that, then make sure that you gem that. Yeah, they actually tuned that gem and I forgot what the exact value is on it, but essentially you want to get these with a socket and then upgrade them all the way to 425, and they will be simming higher than 455 boots, up until you get a socket on your 455 boots. So they're very strong. The next Benthic piece that I'm going to go over is the Tidal Wristwraps. Let me see if I can pull them up in game, because I don't actually own them. I can't actually pull them up, unfortunately, but it's the bracers that are going to they give you a chance on your hit on damage to proc damage on your enemy. I think it's like 8k damage, and they proc pretty often. They're a pretty huge upgrade as well. So for those, you also want to get a socket on them and then upgrade them all the way to 425. The socket is not mandatory. Honestly, rolling for the socket, you're going to spend a lot of mana pearls unless you get very lucky. And even if you do spend all your mana pearls, you may not get that socket. So don't worry too much about the socket. I would say maybe spend like 100 mana pearls on trying to get them. And if you don't get a socket, then just move on, what can you do, really? Last but not least, we have the new leggings. Do I have these? No, I actually got rid of them. I had them. But the reason I got rid of them, or sorry, it wasn't the leggings. It was the, what was it? The girdle. So the girdle, and I don't think I have it. No, I got rid of it. So there is a Vims Scalecrusher Clasp, and this is a belt. And while you're in it, it also gives you a chance to proc damage. Now, the reason why I do not recommend running this is because when you proc that damage, not only does that have the natural threat that it generates, which isn't much, there is an additional effect on them that actually generates threat. So if you're going to use them, just be cautious. You may pull aggro a lot. I've been pulling aggro very commonly with whenever I pop my Blood of the Enemy and go really ham on an AoE pull. So yeah, it is additional damage, but you do run the risk of pulling aggro off your tanks. So I would say not worth running, but it's up to you ultimately. So a couple pieces that I want to go over with the new raid coming out for Heroic tomorrow, or normal, depending on where you're at. The Shiver Venom Lance is actually pulling ahead in DPS. So this is probably going to be our BIS polearm for the tier. So I would say use your bonus roll on the first boss, and this makes it very good for casual players because pugging the first boss in Mythic is actually pretty common thing. So I would say this is actually beneficial that you can get your best in slot weapon from the very first boss. So yeah, make sure you guys are trying for that Shiver Venom Lance because it's pulling ahead in the DPS quite significantly. Another piece is going to be the Ashar's Font of Power Trinket. This trinket basically gives you critical strike all the time, and then it has a really weird on-use effect that you actually channel it. And the longer you channel it, the more main stat you get. Or sorry, not the more main stat you get, the longer the duration of that main stat is. So yeah, you can get 30 seconds of 3300 main stat, which is huge. And this trinket is pulling ahead of every other trinket in the Sims. So yeah, those two pieces of gear, one is off the first boss and one is off the last boss, so be looking out for those. And then last but not least, I've been being asked a lot about the essences. So going into this first week of Heroic, the best in slot essence that you can run in your major slot as a Feral Druid is going to be Blood of the Enemy rank 3. This is accompanied by a very tedious, very long battleground grind. You have to earn up to 50k honor in battlegrounds in order to unlock this rank 3 essence. But for Feral Druids, this is your best in slot major. So if you haven't got it yet and you're a Mythic Raider, you need to get it this week. It's going to be really strong. Now, there is something controversial, actually, with this essence. It has been showing up in Sims that the Conflict and Strife essence that gives you thorns in PvE is actually doing more output than the rank 3 Blood of the Enemy. So the rank 1 Conflict and Strife so far seems to be our best in slot. Now there are some things to think about if you're going to run Conflict and Strife, and yes, you can get Conflict and Strife rank 2, I think. I think you can get rank 2 by the time the Mythic season starts, the Mythic raid comes out. But essentially this rank 1 essence, which only requires you to get 500 conquest in arenas, and then open it out of your war chest, is pulling ahead of Blood of the Enemy significantly. So this may be BIS. I don't know if they're going to change it. Some things to think about is if you are going to run this, you need to know your tank's rotations very well, because you do not want to put thorns on a tank and then that tank gets taunted off of, right? Because then all of a sudden your thorns is not going to be doing any output. So in a perfect world, if you can keep the thorns on the correct tank every single time, this is going to be the best essence for you. I think because of that trickiness and because of the likeliness that that is going to get nerfed or it's going to get changed or altered in some way, Bully the Enemy rank 3 is still a safe bet to grind out. So I would recommend getting this still. For minor essences, once you get level 55 neck, which I recommend having level 55 neck at least, the next best essence that you can run is going to be your Crucible of Flame in your minor. And this is assuming you do not have any coordination with your raid. Coming up next, and this is very crucial that you coordinate with your raid, is World Vein Resonance. This is going to be your best in slot minor essence. And you can unlock rank 3, I'm pretty sure. I've unlocked rank 2. You just do a bunch of islands and you can get rank 3. And essentially, if all of your melee are running this, then the value of this essence goes up, because it's the higher likelihood that you're going to have these shards on the field for all of you guys to benefit from. In fact, when you're simming this, there's an option at the bottom that will let you toggle how many raid members are going to be running this, and so you can kind of compare your DPS there. Just for a comparison, World Vein Resonance over Crucible of Flame gives me about a 2k DPS increase if 4 people, including myself, are running this essence in their minor. So very, very strong essence. I think it's going to be probably one of the best ones to run if you can coordinate with your entire raid. So yeah, make sure that you're pushing your melee DPS to get this essence. But anyways, guys, that's essentially it for the guide today. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. Sorry if it was a little bit shaky with the Benthic gear. I don't have the pieces on hand, so you know it's a little bit harder to represent them. But I will put the names of the Benthic gear down below. And then, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, see ya.